Alright, today we're going to be doing a breakdown and clean of my Smith & Wesson SD9 VE. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is do a safety check. Make sure the gun is completely safe. There's no rounds in it. I have no magazine in the gun. And another thing you're going to want to do is take all the rounds out of your mags if you have your mags loaded. Now you don't have to do this. This is just a preference. Go ahead and take all the mags or the ammunition out of your magazine. Now this is just for safety purposes only. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get right back and I'll show you how to break it down and clean it. Alright, now that we went ahead and done our safety check and took all the rounds out of each individual mag, we're going to go ahead and break the pistol down and clean it. Now we'll go ahead and do another quick safety check. There are no rounds in it. The way that I like to break down the Smith & Wesson SD9 is I grip it with my right hand and just pull back like so, and then take my left thumb and finger and grip down on my release levers and pop the trigger, and it'll slide forward right out for you. And that's how you just break it down real quick. Now you could set your slide piece to the side, and we'll go ahead and get started on cleaning the polymer grip. Now you don't have to really get in there. You don't have to break down all your little pins and take it completely apart. I mean, if it's really dirty, then yeah, you might want to take it all the way apart. But what I like to do is I'll just take my nylon brush, like you could use an old toothbrush. Make sure you've cleaned the toothbrush off real well. And I'll take some of my rim oil or my Hops Elite cleaning spray. You could pick this stuff up at Walmart, and I'll just spray it down in here real quick, and I'll scrub with the nylon brush and just try to get some of that grime broken down with the brush. And after I've done that, action the trigger back and get in there where you can't really get to a little bit with your brush. I've already cleaned it real well, so I'm just kind of giving you a quick tip on how you'd like to clean it. And then take your little cotton piece of a shirt, or you could use these Winchester cotton patches that I went ahead and picked up and bought. And you just want to get down in there with your finger, and you want to just kind of rub off all that spray and dirt and grime that you've broken down with the nylon brush. I like to get in the mag area and rub it in there real nice and get it real clean. You'll see some black soot coming out on your cloth or your shirt. Action the trigger a few times while getting in there to clean it out real well. After you've done that, go ahead and take some rim oil and spray down in here to get it lubed up and get it, nice and lubed up. Then you could set that to your side now that you got that clean. And here's your slide piece, and we flip that over, and we'll take the spring off. And you could take the rim oil and you could spray your spring and kind of rub your spring off a little bit, and you could take your nylon brush and brush the spring out, try to get it clean. Keep it clean as well. Then you could slide the barrel out. You could push it up and forward, and then you could slide it right back out. Now that you got your barrel off, now the way that I like to clean the barrel is I'll use either my Hops number 9 cleaner if it's really dirty. I'll put a little bit of the Hops number 9 or some rim oil if you don't have it on my wire brush, and I'll just run my wire brush through the barrel a few times, pointing down at the towel, and you could see some of the dirt and grime coming out of it. Do that a few times, and then after you've done that, I like to take little squares of paper towel, and I use my little barrel shroud thing that came with my cleaning kit, and I went ahead and just roll that around it. Roll that around it nice and tight. Make sure you don't have too much on there, and I'll spray my barrel up with rim oil real good, and then I'll just run this little swab through. And you run that through and through, and as you can see, there's some stuff that came out the barrel. And I'm going to do that over and over again until the barrel comes out clean. So we'll go ahead and take another piece of paper towel and wrap that around your little piece here. Go ahead and try that again. Paper towel, rub it around. These are just regular dry paper towels. And you take some rim oil or some hops cleaning spray and you spray down in the barrel. Get the barrel nice and dripping. You want it dripping out the other end. And then you take your little swab and you run it through the barrel again. And there's just a little bit of black stuff coming off, if you can get a good look at that. I'm not sure if you can. Just a little bit's coming off. So you want to go out and wrap another little clean piece of cloth around it, and you're going to do that several times until it comes out pretty much thoroughly cleaned. And once it's coming out really clean, like it is here, no more liquid coming on it, no more black stuff, I'll take my rim oil, the aerosol can, and I'll just spray the barrel down until it's dripping. Just want to spray it until it's dripping out the other end. And I let that sit for a second. Take another little square piece over here and I'll wrap that around again. Wrap that around there, and then I'll run it through the barrel to push out that rim oil. Really, it's just liquid coming out now. Now I know my barrel is thoroughly cleaned. We're done with that. What I like to do is take my little cloth here, my little cotton cloth, and I'll spray that down with some rim oil. Or you could have some cotton cloths in a little, jar and have some rim oil in there so they're always sitting in there soaking in it. And I'll just rub my barrel down with this cloth real well. And then rub the tip of it down. And then rub the rear. And even so, non-corrosive ammunition, you'll still be able to see some of the powder on your feed ramp on the barrel. Go ahead and brush that off and then spray some rim oil on there and rub that off real good until it comes off clean and shiny. You got your barrel clean. We'll move on to the slide. Now what I like to do is the slide does get kind of dirty and grimy right in here where the action happens. So what I'll do is I'll just get some of my hops gun cleaner and I'll spray it a little bit, let that break down on the grime. I use my wire brush and I'll brush in there to kind of break down some of that stuff. And then I'll use my nylon brush and I'll get in there and I'll brush it out. And then I'll take one of my little cloths, my little cotton cloths, and I get in there and I'll rub all that out. And then main thing, you want to get into your grooves right here along the slide. And if you have a fingernail, you can get your nail in there with the cloth and just kind of rub that out. And you'll see some of that black stuff on that cloth. So you know it's not thoroughly clean. You just run that through a few times, different sections of the cloth. And you can see there's still a lot of dirt and black grime in there because I haven't got to this part yet. And you want to do that a few times until it starts coming out pretty clean. Some people might not have a fingernail to dig down in there. You'd use this little poker piece, this little piece right here. You go ahead and take your cloth and just, you could dig it down in there over and over. You want to do that several times until it starts to come out real clean. Then you can take your cloth and just wipe it out again, so it's not, there's not like dust and dirt getting in there. Now that you got your slide real clean and you got your polymer grip real clean, I have a little air compressor, and you could use a can of compressed air, or you could use a little air compressor. I like to just blow it out. Get up in there, action the trigger a few times, and that kind of blows out some of the liquid and stuff that got left in the hard to reach places. Now I'm actioning the trigger every time I start blowing it. And I'm going to do that with, I'm going to get up in all the little cracks. And that helps get it real nice and clean. You don't have to do this if you don't have an air compressor. But this helps get some of that fluid that's stuck down in the pin area. Now I'm going to pull my pin back right here on this lever, get down in there and blow where the pinhole is. And I can already see a lot of stuff coming out of it. I don't know if you can see. And then I'll grab my cloth and I'll wipe it down. You can see there was some stuff hiding up in these little hard to reach places. And that's something you can do to get it pretty clean without actually having to break the pin down, take the pin out, take the trigger apart, and you know what I mean? You don't really have to go through all of that to get it a nice thorough clean. Now we'll just go ahead and put it back together. Now you want to slide the barrel in first. Make sure the 9mm is upright. Then put your spring back in. And make sure your spring goes down on that second notch. There's two little notches on the barrel. Make sure it's sitting on the farthest notch, the bottom notch. And you start from the rear end on the slide and the front end on the polymer grip. And you can line it up with your little metal slide. And you slide it right back without the magazine in the gun. Keep the mag out of the gun and you can action it back. Looks like it's on there, and what I like to do is I like to just pop the trigger and action it back and pop the trigger. Everything's working real fine, so now that we got the gun nice and thoroughly cleaned, we go ahead and move on to the magazine. Some people don't really clean their mags, some people do, some people probably don't even know you can clean the mag. You can go ahead and use just a little thin pokey thing like this. I just got this out of my gun cleaning kit real quick. There's a little button on the bottom of the magazine. I go ahead and push that button down and pop it forward. And before you slide it all the way out, you want to get your finger there so the spring doesn't shoot out on you. You can go ahead and set this down to the side, your little bottom piece, and let the spring come out a little bit. Now you're going to have a little flat plastic piece here with a little button on the top. You set that down to the side and we'll go ahead and slide it all the way out. I've already cleaned this up pretty well, so you're going to see how it's pretty white. Before I cleaned it, it was all black. And I took some rim oil and I sprayed the rim oil on the little plastic piece and then brushed it real well with my nylon brush. And then, you know, sprayed it off with the air compressor real quick. And then you can move on to your mag casing. Now on the mag, what I do is I'll just spray rim oil on the inside in here, and then I'll take my nylon brush and I'll get up inside the magazine and I brush it real well like so. Break it down a little bit and then spray it again with rim oil, and then I'll take my little cotton piece that I've got, my little Winchester cotton piece, and then I'll go ahead and shove that through the mag, and that's going to pick up any of the grime in there, and you can go ahead and use your swab and push it the rest of the way through until it starts to come out on the end. And you can grab your cotton piece. Now mine's not going to come out all that dirty because I've already cleaned the mag, but I'm just showing you how to clean it real quick. And you could go ahead and after you cleaned all that, you might want to brush out your spring a little bit. You could use a nylon brush again, and you could just brush the spring, make sure it doesn't have a lot of crap on it neither. Go ahead and slide it all back together. Make sure it's all going in like you took it apart. Then I flip it upside down and I get my little flat piece with my button, the button side up. And I'm going to use my left hand, push down on the spring with my left hand, and then I grab with my right hand the bottom piece and slide it right on. Now you want to push it all the way in until you hear it snap. Now that button will go into place. Now just to make sure the mag is sitting correctly and everything's working fine, What I like to do is I just run a few rounds through it. I grab some ammunition and I fill it up. You know, about 15 rounds you want to put in it. After you put, you know, the 15 or 16 rounds in there, you want to go ahead and pop them out one at a time with your thumb and make sure everything is working properly. So it's working properly. And another little quick thing to do to check it, you get your gun, make sure the mag is completely empty, pop it into the gun, and you go ahead and rack it back, and if it locks into place, everything looks like it's working fine. Go ahead and rack it back, lock it into place, and you want to do that with each magazine you have. But that's my breakdown and clean on the Smith & Wesson SD9. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learn a little bit. This is a self-defense 9mm pistol made by Smith & Wesson. It's a great little pistol. If I could talk about it a quick second, I probably shot about 600 rounds at this gun. Had no issues with it so far. No jams, no failure to feeds, nothing. You could sit there and pop off rounds, have a good old time with this gun. It's a great self-defense weapon as well, and a good gun just to shoot. It's really accurate once you learn how to shoot it. But hope you enjoy the video. Post any comments below. LersRecReviews. Thanks for watching.